So this is going to be an updated review on the Orville. Does it still suck? We'll find out. So a lot has happened in the past 2 episodes that I think really kind of reveals a lot about this show that I personally didn't know. The show has a lot more character to it. I didn't give it as much credit as it deserves. And I'm sure this guy right here has a lot of updated views on the show. And so we're going to get right into it.
Yeah.
Does it still suck?
Well, that's a fascinating question. I did take a lot of your points that you made in the last show. Wanted to keep it more of an open mind, sit back, eat some chips or some popcorn, as you said, and just to try to enjoy it for the way that it is. Paradoxical, the levity and humor between its characters and the story, and just try to take it in the way you're supposed to, right? It's nothing. It's not too serious. So the second episode was actually pretty comical, and I actually found myself giggling to some of the parts. It really kind of brought me back into don't judge a book by its cover, or don't make snap judgments about something even if it's just the first time around. But I did appreciate the second episode. It had pace, it had a level of mystery, and I love Jeffrey Tambor making a guest appearance on the show. He provided that colonic humor that I really related to, that kind of speaks to more of the adults. And I was actually taken aback, and when I was watching that, I was like, that's actually kind of funny, I appreciate that. And then it went on to the mystery of them moving into whatever the distress call was, and then at that point on, I was like, wow, that was actually intriguing, and I was really interested in what happened to the rest of the episode. But I just hate how studios put out shitty pilots, and I still stand by this. That pilot was awful, and I didn't want to watch too much of that episode, and I still stand by that.
Okay, I will agree with you, okay? Compared to episode 2 and 3, the first episode was kind of disappointing. Not in that I didn't enjoy it, in that it really sucked compared to episode 2 and 3. And this is where I came in thinking I hadn't given it enough credit, because I was saying that this show just didn't need to be taken seriously. It was a whole bunch of playground jokes and nuanced humor by Seth MacFarlane, but it has so much more going for it. It would be a disservice to the show to just say it's a parody of Star Trek. Coming from these 2 recent episodes, I liken it more to Galaxy Quest. It is a humorous show, and it's a lighthearted show, but it still has character, it still has depth in the way they're presenting these alien species and these problems that they're tackling in these episodes. And when I watched episode 2 and 3, I felt like it was getting a little bit dramatic. And the subject matter in episode 2 and episode 3, in terms of like,
I would say more for episode 3 than episode 2.
Definitely more episode 3, but in episode 2 they dealt with slavery and human trafficking, but it was more lighthearted in that episode. In the third episode, in this most recent episode, it was some heavy stuff.
Yeah, and
and it was very political too.
Yeah, and that's where I get really, really confused about this show. In episode 2, I sat back and had a little bit more fun with it, accepted it for what it was, and is it me? I don't know, but the chemistry between Ed and Kelly just doesn't work. I mean, every time they're together and they're trying to create a little bit of a comedic atmosphere and this kind of a lost romance between them, I just don't see it. Every time I see both of them interact with each other, like, it leaves a dry taste in my mouth. And it just confuses me, because I don't know whether I'm supposed to take it seriously or there's comedy in between the seriousness and the story, and it's just like, it's just all over the place for me.
I'll agree to a certain extent. The exchanges between the two are definitely contrived on some level. You can definitely tell that some lines between the two don't work, and there's some sort of like forced. There's some sort of forced like
feels like
they
needed to, like, I don't know if it's the
But at
actor,
the same time, it kind of works for that type of humor that they're trying to get, whereas they're not supposed to have a lot of chemistry. I think from a chemistry standpoint, they're like water and fire. They're not supposed to mix, and they can't really coexist. And they're trying to push this this kind of narrative that they're supposed to be, that there's a spark there that they had.
Yeah, but they're
but it
supposed
was
to
lost by this whole affair that she had with the blue guy. But
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I do agree that like at some moments their exchanges are very contrived. But aside from all of that, I think a lot of the characters are now starting to find their footing. They're gaining a lot of depth. And it really showed in episode 3 when, you know, Bortus is going through this immense political, I might say, and topical sort of issue.
Yeah, I mean, before you even jump into episode 3, the end of episode 2, which was one of my favorites, is that he laid an egg, and I was sitting in the couch and I was like, that is funny. Like these two male, what are they?
Mocklin.
Two male Mocklins produced an egg and they produced an offspring, and he's just sitting on an egg. So he has, that was episode 2. He had to take leave of absence, and
yeah, that was pretty funny.
They left they left the authority of the spaceship. They left the authority of the Orville to what's her name?
Alara Katan.
Alara, and you know, that was interesting.
She's my favorite character.
Yeah, that was interesting for me because, you know, you could relate to the struggles of being a leader for the first time, and I was interested in seeing the rest of that show. Now, episode 3, that was a little bit heavy, which is why I get so confused about this show. I just want to sit back and relax and enjoy it for, you know, it's levity and it's humor, as you say, but then it was like, why is this reaching social, political, like, surfaces here, conversation?
I think, okay, so the political landscape is a little bit, okay, it's definitely confusing, but I think what they're trying to do with this show is bridge the gap between comedy, being topical, and being dramatic at the same time. I think in some of the interviews that Seth MacFarlane does about this show, he kind of tends to stay away from kind of categorizing this show as a full-on comedy, and I think that was a good move, because while the show did go from lighthearted to kind of serious in the span of one episode, I appreciated it. I accepted the drama, and I was fully invested in Bortus's conflict with his partner Clyden, and you know, I was in the episode, I was enjoying it, but at the same time they also didn't stop with the humor. They didn't stop with the shoot from the hip comedy. I think, you know, while they're hitting all of these serious notes and these dramatic notes in the show, there's still some humorous exchanges between the characters, and I know they're not as humorous and they don't hit that kind of funny that would have been hit in a more lighthearted episode, but I think this episode needed to happen. I think this episode lets us know what this show is wanting to be. I don't think the show wants to define itself as a full-on comedy.
Well, that's where it goes wrong for me.
I don't think it wants to define itself as a parody either, and that's where I was wrong in my first assessment. And so that's why I likened it to more Galaxy Quest, as I said earlier. It's a spacefaring show with discovery, characters, and drama, but more along the lines with humor injected into it. Because if you watch Star Trek, it's all about all of that stuff, right? Spacefaring, discovery.
That is true.
It has all other alien cultures and all these political issues and conflicts between races, and it doesn't have the humor. It just stays in that one spot. Whereas you can watch a tribunal with Bortus and Clyden and the all of the council and make their stances on everything, but still have kind of like the humor between
you're trying to say.
Between Kelly and Gordon, trying to make a point that males don't have an inherent superiority in intelligence or physical capability. But it all goes with what I'm trying to say about the show, is that it does have its drama and it does have its serious moments, but it also injects the humor into it, which is what I enjoy. You know, like I said, if you watch Star Trek and all those other shows, they stay in their lane.
They do. I mean, that's what those shows are. They know their lane. They know what they're about. Take a step back. You know, go back to episode 2. Do that again. Just do that again, because that was really enjoyable for me.
I think, no, I'm gonna disagree there. I think episode 3 really showed what the show wanted to be. I think they found themselves. Okay, so the pilot was lighthearted humor and almost parody-like, which is the vibe that I got. Episode 2 was starting to inject more of that drama by capturing the captain and his XO. And then episode 3 obviously hit on a more taboo subject, and I think this is the show it's going to be. Whether or not Flip here appreciates it is another question entirely, but that's the show it's going to be. It's going to be a lighthearted drama with some humor and some comedy from Seth MacFarlane's side. And I don't think you're going to get anything else. You're going to get more drama, you're going to get more humor, and there's nothing else that's going to be confusing about the next episode. I guarantee you that. But, so,
okay,
you know, so I'll just keep on saying it. There's no more confusion anymore. We know what the show is, and I like it, and I'm going to continue to watch it.
You probably know what the show is. I still don't know what the show is. So, with that being said, I'm going to give it 3.5 Sundays because I'm interested to see what episode 4 is going to be like. I'm interested.
See, you're interested.
Yeah, I'm a little interested, but like, it's still confusing for me. It's like, I don't know. I'm still on the fence. I don't know if I like it or if I hate it. And I don't know what I'm gonna feel after I see the 4th episode. If I give it 3.5, maybe it's probably just 4 Sundays now, but we'll see.
I think episode 3 sealed the deal for me because we don't need another Star Trek Next Generation. We already have Star Trek Discovery that's coming. And so I know what this show is going to be. I like where this show is going, and I stick to it. It's 4 Sundays out of 5, and I'm going to keep on watching it. You know, I still have another Sunday to go. But, you know, past that, I think I'm going to continue to watch it. I'm very invested in Bortus. I'm invested in Alara Katan. She's awesome. She's my favorite character so far. Thumbs up to Halston Sage. I think you're amazing. And yeah, that's it for me. I mean,
well, I don't know. I'm still gonna give it another chance because I am right down the middle right now. So we'll see.
All right, well, that's it for us. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let us know what you think about Orville. Do you still think he's completely wrong, or do you think that I'm right and that this show is starting to gain its ground? Let us know. As always, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, click the bell notification so you can get notifications from us when we post new videos, and we'll talk to you guys next week.